Quickly go on Zoom. We are being joined by Professor Evans Akwesi Jesse. He's an associate professor in international trade at the School of Economics, Finance and Law. Good morning, Prof.
Roslyn.
How are you?
And good morning to the panelists. Yeah, I'm doing very well. And you?
Doing very well as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, we are talking about the 24-hour economy policy. Now, it's even plus, there's a plus to it. And 283-page document that has been given to Ghanaians. What do you think about it? Have you read through, and what do you think about it so far?
Thank you, Roslyn, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners. I've read the policy, or they call it program now. And I was listening to the comment made by your panelists, and I agree them as well. I agree that it is a very good policy, but let's take a step back to memory lane. Ghana has been at this period before. In 1957, Kwame Nkrumah launched the Big Push that ushered in, the sugar plant factory in Asuchare, and get the tomato factories in Wenchi, and of course, the cattle and hide leather shoe in Bolga. We moved to 1978-79. Achampong brought about the Operation Feed Yourself. Rawlings also brought about Economic Recovery Program, Structural Adjustment Program. Kufuor brought HEPIC. Mills Mahama, Infrastructure. Nana brought 1D, 1F, NAPCO, Planting for Food and Jobs. And now we are talking about 24-hour economy. So the issue is not lack of policy when you look at the Ghanaian context. But I agree with Senor in part that it is about the implementation. But we have to give credit to the government. They are only 6 months into government. We don't expect them to implement the 24-hour economy now. The good thing is that it has been launched. That was only last week. In terms of the financing arrangement and all the other elements that has to come together for us to be able to actualize this, I think it's a long haul. I don't see this project being implemented fully in the tenure of President John Mahama. I believe that it should be a long-term program for the entire country. Yes, the idea was born by the NDC, but it should be owned by Ghanaians. Many a times we play the political game. That is where we are. And we have to remember that the monies that are going to be used for the 24-hour economy is Ghanaian taxpayers' money, not taxpayers' money of NDC or MPP. So I think it's about time. And I agree, and I am glad that Senor believes, and of course the other panelists believe, it is a good policy. And I believe that all of us have to rally around, share ideas, and make sure that as much as possible, all of us push for this program to be successful so that we can reap the benefit of it. If you ask me about whether it is a good policy or not, I agree it is, but there are 3 critical things that have to happen. I think that we have to align our institutions to the program. I know we have 24-hour secretariats. I don't think it's necessary. We have government agencies existing that ought to be aligned to that. When John Mahama leaves office, the next government may come and scrap the 24-hour secretariat. What becomes of the policy and the program then? But then when it is aligned to the agencies that we have already, then I think we own it. The civil servant owns it. And that will make sure that as much as possible, it becomes part of the programs and projects of the entire country. And we all forge together and make sure that we reap the benefit of that. So that would be my initial comment in terms of how I see the policy. I think it's laudable. It's fantastic. It is about time Ghanaians develop the Ghanaian economy. And if we all put our shoulders to the wheel and we all agree that it is a policy worthwhile pursuing, then I believe that all of us should do our best to make sure it works for the betterment of everyone.
Fantastic. I think one thing that people are concerned about is the amount of money needed to let this be successful. Looking at our current standings, the Bank of Ghana, that's supposed to support us, currently is in debt with 769.4 billion cedis as of March. And this is what Bank of Ghana even needs for itself to boost up again. So how will Bank of Ghana be able to support this?
Yeah, that's a good point. One thing that I believe is that I think SMEs and private enterprises should be the anchor of the program. And I think when the president was launching it, he made mention of it. we know that 80% of our GDP is supported by SMEs. The 24-hour economy cannot be successful if we relegate them to the background. I believe that, yes, Bank of Ghana would support, other international agencies may support, but we have to allow SMEs to also raise their own capital. They have to buy into the programs of the 24-hour economy. So I think there are a lot of policies being rolled out in terms of the tariffs, easing of tariffs, in terms of how much companies are going to pay if they are running 24-hour economy when it comes to electricity and what have you. I think these incentives are laudable. But then the government should also open up the space so that individuals who can find findings elsewhere bring in the money that we need. Because, as you said, we went to IMF program. How much did we get? I think it's about 1.5 billion. For how many years? About 3 years, isn't it? And we are talking about 4 billion. That's why I said that we may not see the full implementation of the policy in the lifetime, or in the if you look at the the lifeline of this presidency. But I believe that it should transcend beyond John Dramani Mahama. And I think Ghanaians should own it. And of course, small, medium enterprises should also come on the table and make sure that they also bring the fundings that is needed. Government cannot do it all. I think it requires the effort of everybody. And I believe that the SMEs has a critical role to play when it comes to the implementation of this particular program.
All right, Prof, I'll come